how long does it actually take for your heat press to pay for itself? And no, you didn't mishear me. Your heat press actually will pay for itself over time. But how long does that take? In this video, we're gonna run a few scenarios. We're gonna run the numbers with a few different heat presses and actually talk about that. But before we go any further, do me a favor and like this video. And if you wanna see more content like this in your feed, subscribe to the Heat Press Nation YouTube channel as well. Now in this video, we're gonna give you a general idea of reasonable timelines, depending on how much work you're able to put into it, what heat press you get, etc. And let me just say this, everybody's situation is different. So your situation, I will guarantee, is gonna be different than the scenario in this video, but hopefully you're gonna finish this video with a general idea of how long you can expect for your heat press to pay for itself. Now, you're gonna see some numbers come on screen in just a second. These are the figures that we use to calculate the cost of producing a single t-shirt with a full color graphic, about 11 by 11 inches, okay? It's pretty standard. Yes, you can go bigger. Yes, you can go smaller. Yes, you could use different t-shirts, all of that, but we have to start somewhere, right? So this is what we're using as our standard. So for our t-shirt, it's gonna cost us $465 shipped. That's wholesale pricing. Of course, no sales tax or anything like that. Our DTF print, we're using the True Print 12-inch by 12-inch DTF transfer, and that's $11.25 with free shipping. I know you can get it a little bit cheaper from other sites, but once you add shipping, ours is actually an incredible deal. So yeah, $11.25, that brings our total price. Cost to produce this shirt is $15.90. And it's just the t-shirt and the print. In this situation, you're not paying for anything else. We're not factoring in cost of electricity or your website or anything like that. We're just talking about the actual materials to produce this custom t-shirt. So our total cost, we're at $15.90. We're selling this shirt for $25. That's a very, very reasonable price for this type of job. Now you can go online, again, go online, you can go on Etsy, you might find someone cheaper, you might find someone more expensive, go locally or go to one of the big dogs, go to, these, and I don't want to name any names, but you go to these big online custom shirt printing sites, and especially after you factor in shipping, $25 is actually pretty reasonable for a single custom t-shirt. If your customers are picking up from you locally, then they're saving on that shipping. So it makes sense they can get it done faster, they can get it done local, and they can pick it up from you. So $25, totally reasonable for this job, a single shirt job. After that, your cost, $15.90. You're selling it at $25. Your net profit is going to be $9.10 per order. And this is you selling single custom t-shirts. This is not a bulk order. This is not you selling 30 shirts to the local bowling team. This is just one single individual order. That's what we're using as the basis for this video. So we're gonna run a scenario with 3 different heat presses. Honestly, these are my #1 picks in their respective price points. We have the Craft Pro 15 by 15, the Signature Series 16 by 20 inch auto open, and then of course my new favorite, the True Spec Hybrid auto open heat press. At $399.95, the Craft Pro heat press is gonna pay for itself after about 44 single t-shirt sales. At $829.95, the Signature Series 16 by 20 inch auto open is gonna pay for itself after about 92 individual sales. And at $1499.95, the True Spec heat press will take roughly 165 individual sales to be completely paid off. So here's what's cool about this. After your heat press has paid for itself, you're completely in the black. It's all profit after that, which is incredible. That means your press is paid off. Now, all of that money that you were spending to pay yourself back, to pay off your investment on your heat press, that's all in your pocket. It's all profit. And again, these are just individual sales. Of course, if you're taking bigger orders, you are getting those 20, 30, 100 shirt orders, you're gonna pay the press off so much faster. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna go off of single sales using the numbers and profit that I mentioned a few moments ago. Now, in this business, you get what you pay for. So to put this into perspective, let's take 2 different scenarios for each machine. One where you're kind of putting in a minimal effort, you're working hard, you're trying to get your business going, but you're not spending a ton of time. It's just a little bit more of a casual side hustle. And then the second scenario, we'll talk about if you're a little bit more committed, you're working hard, you're grinding it out, you're getting those sales, you're putting in the work. In the first scenario, where it's a little bit more casual, but you don't have all the time in the world to be really pouring the hours and hours into your business, maybe you're getting about 3 to 5 sales a week. Now, with this level of work or effort going into it, we're in the 3 to 5 sales per week. It's gonna take you about 2 to 4 months to pay off your Craft Pro. Not bad. At that same rate, you'll be about 5 to 8 months before you pay off your Signature Series heat press. And then we're at about 8 to 13 months to pay off the true spec. Again, not really a bad deal, especially if you already have that money set aside. It's not gonna hurt you to make the investment into the heat press. But now get this, with a more solid effort where you're putting the time in, you're putting the work in, you're getting the sales, and you're getting about 10 sales per week, these numbers get really cut down and you're paying off your press a lot faster. Now, in this second scenario where you're putting in a more solid effort, you're getting about 10 individual sales a week, you're paying off the Craft Pro in about a month, you're paying off the Signature Series in about 2 to 4 months, and then you're paying off the True Spec in about 5 to 8 months. For your side hustle to be paying off this equipment in that amount of time, that's pretty darn good. Now, depending on who you are, that might sound like a long time, might sound like a little time, but let me put this into perspective. The stock market averages about 7-8% annual growth, right? So for your investment to pay itself off, it's gonna take several years in the stock market. But if you invest in yourself by purchasing a Heat Press Nation machine, it's getting 100% return in just a few months, depending on your effort, which I think is really, really cool. Now, there are some variables to all of this. Again, I'm using a very specific scenario, using 2 very specific rates of work or effort, right? You got 3 to 5 sales a week or versus 10 sales a week, selling a very specific product, right? The first big variable is gonna be your materials and your pricing. In this video, we use the Next Level 3600. I happen to really like that shirt, but maybe you're using something a little bit more expensive, a little bit more high-end, maybe the AS Color Classic, another one that I love. You're able to charge more for it. Or maybe in your area, there's a bigger demand for custom shirts. So you have that, the law of supply and demand is really in your favor and you're able to charge a little bit more. Or you're gonna pay off your heat press even faster. And I cannot overstate this one, your effort. You might be able to book several jobs per week for, 1, 2, 300 shirts per order. That's not outrageous. It's not some crazy pipe dream. There's a lot of customers who are actually putting out these numbers. In fact, a few of my customers have been able to pay off their heat presses on their first order. It's not super common, but I have had these customers like saying, hey, my kid's school needs 600 t-shirts. I'm gonna order a heat press from you. I'm ordering transfers from here. Do you think this is possible? I'm like, oh dude, I wish I could start off with 600 t-shirts. The press literally is paying for itself and then some on the first order. So if you've been on the fence about wanting to start your t-shirt printing business and you're not quite sure because of the expense, try to readjust your thinking and consider it more of an investment, and not just an investment, but one that's gonna pay for itself in months, potentially weeks. Hey, if you found this video helpful, which I really hope you have, do me a favor and let me know in the comments, or even better, if you have some tips or some real world experience that you wanna share saying, hey, I was able to pay off my heat press in this many shirts, that many orders. Please, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you have any questions about getting a new heat press or any sort of print materials, we carry DTF, sublimation, vinyl, all sorts of t-shirt printing equipment and supplies at Heat Press Nation. We have the largest selection of professional heat presses in the USA, so be sure to check us out online at heatpressnation.com, or you can give our sales team a call at 800-215-0894. They'd be happy to talk to you and get you into the right equipment. My name is Jared with Heat Press Nation. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you around. Adios.